Right now, live at 5, the northern part of Minnesota is trending toward the newest COVID hotspot in the state.
Where St. Louis County stands when it comes to COVID-19 cases across the state.
And in Wisconsin, a similar story.
We hear from Wisconsin County leaders as to what COVID cases look like in the Northland.
Plus, the DEC announces permanent layoffs, how many people are affected, and for how long. And in politics, the first and only vice presidential debate is just a few hours away, what you should expect ahead of the event.
You're watching Live at 5 on Live Local CBS 3.
Welcome to the CBS 3 News Live at 5. Here's a live look over the city of Duluth. As COVID cases rise across the Midwest, we're taking a closer look at the numbers in our region to get a clear picture of the situation. Good evening, I'm Kristen Baki.
And I'm Anthony Matt. Thanks for joining us. Minnesota is certainly not out of the woods when it comes to COVID-19, and data shows our region is setting the pace as the state's biggest hotspot.
Statewide, there are more than 100,000 confirmed cases to date. Total deaths sit at more than 2,000. And today, Minnesota reported more than 900 newly reported cases.
But as we mentioned, northern Minnesota is a driving force behind those numbers, putting up more new cases per capita than many other places in the state during recent weeks. Specifically, in St. Louis County, there are 2,000 confirmed COVID-19 cases and more than 470 in Itasca County, where they're reporting a 30% increase in total positive COVID-19 cases over the past week. That's one of the highest increases statewide.
Of the state's 87 counties, Governor Tim Walz picked St. Louis County's health expert to take part in a roundtable discussion today.
CBS 3's Leanne Valdez listened in and explains what they say needs to be done to combat the virus here in the Northland.
Coronavirus has taken time away from people and their loved ones.
In April, found that she was diagnosed with COVID.
Catherine Hall's mother had dementia and was admitted into a care center.
We were with her for several days and then said our goodbyes.
A storyline becoming too common across the country and right here in St. Louis County.
Because as we see community transmission increase, what we have is our health behaviors and what we have is each other to combat it.
St. Louis County's Public Health Division Director Amy Westbrook says September was a difficult month as 50% of the county's confirmed COVID-19 cases were reported in September.
We've also seen about 50% of our deaths in St. Louis County reported in September.
St. Louis County has more than 2,000 confirmed COVID-19 cases, 20 newly reported on Wednesday, most of them coming from long-term care facilities and group gatherings, says Westbrook.
We are seeing people be more complacent.
Though northern Minnesota has been the state's COVID-19 hotspot in recent weeks, Hennepin County currently stands at 29,000 confirmed coronavirus cases, with 167 newly reported cases Wednesday. Itasca County has seen about 30% growth in total positive COVID-19 cases over the past week, one of the highest increases in the state. Governor Walz adds the United States has not handled the situation correctly.
The most infected nation, the most deaths, and the slowest to recover from it.
And we have a long way to go.
I said in March it was going to be a long, dark winter. We're still in that long, dark winter.
Health officials say the reason for the increase is small get-togethers and pandemic fatigue. They add the uptick is not related to President Trump's Duluth rally last week. Itasca County public health leaders say cases there have been traced to events like weddings and gatherings at bars and restaurants.
Wisconsin has hit a dire milestone in the COVID-19 pandemic. Today, Governor Tony Evers announced the opening of a 500-bed field hospital at the state fairgrounds as a surge in COVID-19 cases threatens to overwhelm hospitals. So far, there are nearly 139,000 confirmed cases across the state. That's an increase of 2,300 in the last day. More than 1,400 Wisconsinites have died from the virus. Here in our region, Douglas County is reporting almost 570 cases, Sawyer County about 260, Ashland County nearly 170, and Bayfield County sits around 130. Altogether, those 4 counties have reported 4 deaths. With the increase in cases, state and local health department leaders urge people to stay home and travel only if needed. While southern and central Wisconsin hospitals are battling a surge in patients, Douglas and Ashland County officials say as of right now, their hospitals are not at full capacity, but they do fear that could change as the surge continues. Douglas County's health expert says they're seeing many positive cases from what they're calling pandemic fatigue and people not social distancing.
People being with other people. So we are not seeing cases specific to one event or one setting. It is across the board, people spending time with people.
Leaders in Ashland County are hoping a new data map they're continuously updating will help residents be more aware of where COVID cases have been. They say it will help the public be more knowledgeable with recent exposures.
Close to 400 DEC employees temporarily laid off in April have now been let go permanently. That's according to the DEC's interim executive director, Roger Reinhardt. He says those employees, mainly in the food service, guest service, and operations areas, got the news late last week. According to DEC officials, they have had to make some difficult decisions over the course of the pandemic due to events being canceled and revenue lost, as well as not qualifying for any additional financial assistance. They say these permanent layoffs were not an easy decision, but a necessary one for their survival.
We have to make sure this incredibly important community asset for both Duluth and northeastern Minnesota is still here standing when the COVID pandemic is over.
Officials say the DEC is currently projecting a $1.8 million deficit through next May. And coming up tonight at 10, we will have much more on these layoffs and how the DEC plans to bounce back.
President Trump's doctors are monitoring his progress as he continues treatment for the coronavirus, and officials say he's still planning to address the nation soon. The president is also walking back his position on coronavirus financial relief negotiations with less than a month until Election Day. Deborah Alfarone is at the White House with more.
Senior administration officials tell CBS News the president is expected to return to work in the Oval Office soon, and that isolation carts with personal protective equipment have been set up.
The White House and the West Wing are deep cleaned on a regular basis, so there's a way for him to work out of a variety of rooms safely when he's ready to do that.
President Trump has been isolating and receiving COVID treatments in the White House residence. His doctors released a memo stating that labs are now showing detectable levels of antibodies. Also that he's been symptom-free for the past 24 hours and his vitals continue to be stable. After halting coronavirus bill talks, the president is now urging Congress to pass standalone bills for $1,200 stimulus checks and relief funding for the airline industry and small businesses. House Speaker Nancy Pelosi addressed the administration's about face on ABC's The View.
He saw the political downside of his statement of walking away from the negotiations. All he has ever wanted in the negotiation was to send out a check with his name printed on it.
Meanwhile, White House officials are pushing back on criticisms tying the COVID outbreak there to the September 26th Supreme Court announcement. Few attendees wore masks, and there was no social distancing during that event.
We actually know that some of the infection here within the White House did not come from that event.
The president's senior advisor, Stephen Miller, is among the latest to test positive for COVID-19. Miller is one of several to test positive after attending presidential debate prep sessions.
North Carolina Senator Tom Tillis told a local news station he regrets taking his mask off inside the White House during the September 26th Supreme Court announcement festivities. He is one of a handful of senators to test positive after attending.
In other national news, the one and only vice presidential debate between Vice President Mike Pence and Senator Kamala Harris is just hours away. Final preparations are underway at the University of Utah, where the two will go head-to-head. Voters are hoping for something a little different from last week's chaotic presidential matchup. The debate will be divided into 9 segments. The topics have not been revealed but are expected to include the pandemic, which is now impacting the White House, the economy, and the Supreme Court vacancy. Dave's here for our first look at the weather now. Dave, another beautiful fall day for a lot of us, huh?
Yeah, and it still is at this moment. So let's cast our eye upon Blackjack Mountain in the Upper Peninsula, where one might look there and think perhaps we're starting to pass peak as far as leaves go, and that is true, so we need to get out and enjoy them before they all fall to the ground. And with a high pressure cell settling in, the viewing should be pretty good from now through at least the first half of the weekend. Our low pressure system from yesterday is departing, and for the most part that means our rain chance has ended, although there is a chance tonight for a little bit of shower activity in northern Minnesota from the Iron Ranges to the Canadian border. But by tomorrow, that high pressure cell should settle in and set us up for a day that looks like this on Thursday. Clear to partly cloudy as the day goes on. A brisk start in the morning, perhaps in the 30s, but a decent finish in the afternoon. 60 degrees again, very similar to the temps we had today. And then once we get into Friday, we'll go back towards 70 for at least one more day, probably only one more day. After Saturday, we start to cloud up, cool down, and then our next rain chance will come. And I'll talk about all of this with our 7-day forecast in just a few more minutes.
Thanks, Dave. Still to come on Live at 5, the Duluth Folk School is looking to expand, plus Chisholm is getting a new sign to celebrate the city's history.
And tonight at 6, we're learning more details on Wisconsin's growing COVID cases.
You're watching Live at 5 with Kristen Bakke, Anthony Matt, and weather with meteorologist Dave Anderson on Live Local CBS 3. CBS 3 News is brought to you by Steel Power Tools.
I've got one for you. See, UCare, health plan demystifiers and sleeve roller uppers.
UCare, health plan demystifiers and sleeve roller uppers.
Sounds so good when you say it. 96% of all providers accept UCare because they rock so hard.
96% of all providers accept UCare because they ride so hard. Can we pull over?
What's our tagline?
UCare people-powered health plan.
So good.
Our seniors that are being hit the hardest, they're frightened. And I want them to know that their health and safety will be my responsibility if I'm your president. And I'll have from day one, ready to go, the best medical experts and scientists to advise on our response. And I will not abandon you. It's a simple proposition, folks. We're all in this together. We got to fight this together. We'll emerge from this stronger because we did it together.
I'm Joe Biden, and I approve this message.
Dante was killed in Pearl Harbor.
We had a very hard time getting Dante flown home to Duluth, running into roadblock after roadblock after roadblock.
Pete Stauber was very much there for us every bit of the way.
And he would look at us and he'd say, we're going to make that happen for you.
Thursday night, the family of Dante Teeny got him back.
Pete came through for our family with flying colors.
He sees the needs of the people and he fights for them.
I'm Pete Stauber, and I approve this message.
St. Anne's Assisted Living, here when you needed us before, here when you need us now. We're open for business. Call to schedule your personal tour now. 218-727-8831.
Classic Rock KQ is once again the Northland's #1 radio station. The KQ Morning Show, the most listened to radio program in the Northland. The KQ Train Wreck, the Northland's #1 afternoon show. Thank you for making us the Northland's #1 radio station. 95 KQDS.
Welcome back to the CBS 3 News Live at 5. Here's a live look over Bayfield, Wisconsin on what's turning out to be a beautiful fall day. Dave Anderson will have your full weather forecast coming up in just a few minutes. But first, let's take a quick look around the region.
A new sign will celebrate the history of Chisholm, plus the Duluth Folk School is looking for land for a massive expansion.
That and more as we take you around the Northland, city by city.
Starting off here in Duluth, where the Duluth Folk School is looking for a new place to call home. The school is in search of rural land where it can expand. This is due to the school's rapid growth since opening in 2016. Officials say the dream destination would soon have it looking more like a summer camp, complete with trails, classrooms, workshops, and a barn. Folk School Director Brian French is asking for land recommendations from the community.
Now heading up the North Shore, where more than 2,000 acres of land in the Superior National Forest will remain undeveloped following a sale to a nature preserve company. The land was purchased from Mike Freed, a retired forestry professor who originally acquired the property in 1994 from a development company. The land is home to several species such as moose, songbirds, eagles, and a variety of trees.
And finally, we finish off in my hometown of Chisholm, where the city is expected to install their new sign sometime this week. The sign was designed by the Chisholm Beautification Association with funding from the City Council. It will be placed at the east entrance of the city, where it can be easily viewed from Highway 169. The sign features several tributes to the city's history, including the silhouette of an iron worker, a pickaxe, and the year of Chisholm's founding.
If there's something going on in your neighborhood that you think we should know about, go ahead and send us an email, and it might be featured as we go around the Northland, city by city.
Still to come on Live at 5, how this year's election season is creating extra stress for Americans and what you can do about it.
Here's a live look just south of Cloquet on I-35, and it's a beautiful sky up above. But the gist of things then tonight is it'll be beautiful down south, but up north, still a chance for a few rain showers before high pressure takes over everybody tomorrow. We'll talk about how long this latest dry spell will last coming up right after our break.
They're live, they're local. Watch the CBS 3 News with Kristen Baki and Anthony Matt tonight at 6, right after the CBS Evening News at 5:30.
Clean water. Some of us take it for granted. Not me. I'm Beth Myers. I have the honor of representing you in the State Assembly. It wasn't that long ago that my family was struggling. We went 7 years without running water. The health of our families and our economy depends on clean water. That's why I'm fighting so hard against special interests who want to pollute our land and water. I'm Beth Myers, and I promise I will never take you or the Northland for granted.
It's time for the annual Subaru Love a Pet adoption event. Join us virtually this year. For the month of October, there will be discounted adoption fees for dogs and cats, along with featured pets of the day. Visit animalallies.net for featured pets and event details. Miller Hill Subaru and participating shelters are excited to find loving homes for pets and bring you this event virtually. Visit animalallies.net for adoptable pets and details.
The Kelly Clarkson Show, weekdays at 3 on CBS 3. When President Trump made an appearance in Bemidji, we were there.
Trump will be here in Bemidji. Crowds of people already.
When Biden was giving his speech in Hermantown, we were there. When protests broke out, we were there.
Today he said that Trump doesn't represent.
When you wanted to have accurate info at the drop of a hat, we were there. For the best local campaign coverage, watch the local station. Live, local, CBS 3.
Northwest Outlet is #1 when it comes to kids' winter clothing from the North Face and Columbia.
Duke was a man of few words and many songs.
Let freedom ring. Gone country. Going down till the sun comes up.
It's 102.5. Duke FM.
CBS 3 weather is brought to you by Stokey's Meat Market. Now, the CBS 3 Duluth WeatherMax forecast with meteorologist Dave Anderson.
Higher pressures trying to nudge in and displace the low that brought a little bit of rain yesterday, and the result in a sort of an in-between day for a lot of towns. So, for example, up here near Ely, Shagwell Lake, Mary Zakovich, my old neighbor there up on Beacon Hill. Gorgeous day with sunshine on the leaves changing by the lake, but you can see the sky above is a little bit on the grayer side. Well, as far as that gray sky goes tonight, folks in northern Minnesota have about a 30% chance for some rain showers before the high pressure pushes down all of the clouds tomorrow and brings us in a dry period that could last for several days. I'll point out how long those days are going to be in just a bit, but right now we'll point out the current temp at the airport at 60. Relative humidity is 41%. Westerly, northwesterly winds still running 13 miles per hour, so it's been a bit windy last couple of days. 29.96 is the air pressure. That's now getting back towards the high side, so it is increasing. So tonight's rain showers up north in Minnesota may be the last go-around with rain we get till perhaps Sunday afternoon. Current temperatures are in the mid-50s for the Upper Peninsula and in the lower 60s for northwestern Wisconsin, including 62 for Hayward. In Minnesota, it looks like we're running a range of as cool as 50 up the Gunflint to as warm as 63 degrees or so down towards Moose Lake and many of the rest of the towns. And, of course, in between, low temperatures tonight, a little cooler than they've been the past couple of nights and mornings. I think we'll dip into the 30s. Pretty much across the board. So, taking a look at the Doppler map right now with the approaching high, there's not much going on in the sky until you start to look at the arrowhead of Minnesota, including northern parts of St. Louis County, Lake County, and Cook County, where a couple of sprinkles have popped up. and there's a 30 to 40% chance they'll continue to do so as the night goes on. But I do think the head of the lakes, northern Wisconsin and the Upper Peninsula, are pretty much off the hook for this precip here. And then the hook goes away for several days, like I mentioned, thanks to the high pressure settling in. It won't be as warm Thursday as it was on Monday and Tuesday, but still mild, still a little warmer than normal. Although Friday is going to be a day that is warmer than normal, definitely, with 70 coming back again, which in turn goes away as early as Saturday. And then once we get into Sunday, I think the sunshine and the dry conditions could go away, and we start to get a rain chance. That'll be just a 20% shot on Sunday, but a 30% go-around coming around on Monday, and maybe even spilling into Tuesday. So, of course, you don't need me to tell you it's dry. This will be our latest chance for solving that problem, but I don't think it's going to be a total solution. All right, what do we get for the next week here? Start with tonight in Minnesota. Low temps, 32 inland to 40 by the lake. Showers up north, dry for the rest of the Gopher State. Into Wisconsin and Michigan, should be partly cloudy with lows in the mid-30s. Then for tomorrow in Wisconsin and the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, looking for a range of high temps, 59 to 62, and that's a few degrees warmer than normal with a mostly sunny sky. And it should be mostly sunny for Minnesota as well, with a very similar range of temperatures. Cooler by the lake, warmer down towards the south. Extended forecast shows the pick of the litter is Friday with sunshine and 70 degrees. Motorcyclists get one last run in because we dip down to 55 by Saturday. Then we cloud up by Sunday. And then the rest of the week, well, it's going to be a little bit cooler and just a little bit cloudier.
Looks beautiful. Thanks, Dave. Well, it's a huge day for Hermantown's own Blake Biondi today. The reigning Mr. Hockey Award winner was drafted by the NHL's Montreal Canadiens. He was the 109th overall pick in the 4th round. Biondi set school records in points and goals as a senior in Hermantown with 95 points on 47 goals. Leading the Hawks to the state championship game, he's an incoming freshman at UMD and will play center with the Bulldogs this season. Kelly will have much more on this story tonight at 6 o'clock.
With just weeks to go before the election, chances are you or someone you know is feeling stressed or anxious about the results. Michael George explains election stress disorder and what you can do about it.
And that's Does just watching this stress you out? Are you checking social media a little too much? Well, you're not alone. Marcia Palanchi says she's been feeling election anxiety, too.
I was keeping pretty zen about the whole situation until I watched the debates, and then that went out the window, and I have been incredibly stressed.
I'm getting a lot of emergency calls on resentment and anger.
Couples therapist Dr. Stephen Stosny says stress over the election is causing many Americans to fight with their spouses, friends, and coworkers. During the 2016 election, he coined a term for it, election stress disorder. And he says this year, the anxiety is even worse.
Anxiety makes you feel powerless, and resentment or anger makes you feel temporarily more empowered.
And we often turn that resentment and anger on the people closest to us. Many we spoke with say they can't help but get caught in political fights.
I try to avoid it, but sometimes you have to, respond to what they're saying.
Election's only a month away, so it's going to get more and more and more intense.
Dr. Stosny says you can reduce your anxiety with exercise, writing your feelings down, or do what Marcia Palanchi does. Avoid social media and resist the urge to argue with others.
I'm very careful not to bring up politics. Otherwise, that would be the end of the friendship. It would just be too volatile.
And if you do find yourself in an argument, try and keep it respectful. It's healthier for you and your relationships.
Experts say the extended COVID lockdowns greatly add to our stress, and the election just amplifies that even further.
Still to come, Vickers is being honored with an award. Find out why after the break.
Whether you want to stock up on jerky or grab some ribeyes for dinner, you will find quality products at Stokey's Meat Market. We have been delivering quality meat and deli items for the past 15 years, and we take pride in being the best choice in the area with the freshest products. Stop by either our Duluth or Hermantown location today to peruse our massive selection of chicken, sausage, and beef. And make sure to visit us online at Stokey'sMeatMarket.com to check out our weekly specials. Stokey's Meat Market, where quality and freshness come first.
What are you thinking?
Thinking about burger, fries, and some pie.
You know it's 9 o'clock in the morning.
Well, then bring the pie first.
It's back and better than ever. Perkins Burger, Fries, and Pie Combo. For a limited time, enjoy any burger, fries, and a slice of pie. And always served safely. Whether you dine in, order online, or get it to go. Order now at perkinstogo.com.
I'm Carrie Harris, owner of Diabetic and Comfort Shoes. We have been in business in the Northland, helping you with your everyday foot problems stemming from diabetes to plantar fasciitis for the past 17 years. Stop in and see the complete line of men's and women's shoes, from SAS to Allegria to Vionic, for those millions of people battling plantar fasciitis. And we still have a great selection of comfortable shoes for diabetics, Medicare and Minnesota healthcare approved. Remember, no foot problem is too big or too small. We'll find the way to your soul.
Hello, I'm Steve Little with Bath Planet. For the month of October, we are offering free installation for bathtubs, showers, safety tubs, and surrounds. Get your dream bathroom with free installation. As always, you can still get one of our great financing options for low monthly payments, or 0 down, 0 interest, and 0 payments until 2022. This offer ends October 31st, so call us today or go online to book your appointment to take advantage of this amazing offer. Bath Planet, out of this world service, down to earth price.
A woman who was young had COVID-19. I remember her because she had a bracelet that had the names of her children. She asked me, "Doctor, am I going to be okay?" And I could not give her the answer that I wanted to give her. There's no excuse for why we don't have this under control at this point. Joe Biden listens to medical experts. He actually has a plan that does the things that we should have been doing many months ago. And Joe Biden is not going to let his ego get in the way of fighting the disease.
FFPAC's responsible for the content of this ad.
I was diagnosed with diabetes at 13, so I got to work. I'm Quinn Nystrom, and I became a national advocate. Went door to door in Brainerd, then St. Paul. Went up to Canada to bring back insulin for a fraction of what drug companies charge here. But Pete Stauber went to Washington and voted against making healthcare and prescription drugs more affordable. I approve this message because Minnesota can't afford Pete Stauber in Congress.
You work hard for your money and deserve to see it go the extra mile. Join us Wednesday mornings and hear from local experts on tips to better manage your finances in Eye on Money on live, local CBS 3. Brought to you by MPPL Financial.
Season 2 is
The
here,
Kelly
y'all.
Clarkson Show, weekdays at 3 on CBS 3.
Superior is celebrating the start of a new construction project looking to bring new jobs and food to the city. Project leaders hosted a groundbreaking ceremony this morning at the future site of a cobblestone hotel and suites and Wizota Chop House. The building will sit on the corner of Tower Avenue and North 11th Street.
In a very tough year for business, a Duluth staple is getting recognized in a big way. Vickers was recently named the state's best place to work. The honor is part of the Minnesota Retailers Association 2020 Champions Program. Organizers reviewed dozens of applications. They said they chose Vickers because they invest in their employees and have a family-centered environment based on innovative ideas. We'll be right back after the break.
CBS 3 closed captioning is brought to you by Essentia Health. Need a flu shot? Find flu booth dates and locations at essentiahealth.org.
Ready, set, internet. Extreme has the speed and price to get you online fast. Stop waiting and get going for as low as $19.99 a month for a year with speeds from 60 meg up to 1 gig. Powerful in-home Wi-Fi and 99.99% network reliability. Extreme has what you need to stay ahead and stay on track. Hurry and get Extreme Internet for as low as $19.99 a month for 1 year. Dial 844-EXTREME2.
So, you made it all the way up to the North Pole?
Yep, and the South. But I need good Medicare coverage so I can keep exploring.
Well, we have a range of Medicare Advantage plans, some including dental, vision, prescription, and travel benefits.
Can I find them online?
Yeah, absolutely. Or you can give us a call.
Sounds good.
Well, our stop is just up ahead.
So that was the shortest ride I think I've ever been on.
Yeah, quarantine legs. Gotta work those muscles back up.
I'm Tina Smith, and I approve this message.
Jason Lewis sure has a lot to say about women. He actually said women who care about birth control are brainless. He opposed laws providing health care protections for women. Here's Lewis.
It used to be that women were held to a little bit of a higher standard. We required modesty from women. Now, are we beyond those days where a woman can behave as a slut, but you can't call her a slut?
Jason Lewis. Wrong for women, wrong for Minnesota.
The Kelly Clarkson Show, right here.
Weekdays at 3 on CBS 3.
As COVID-19 cases continue to rise in St. Louis County, health leaders from across the state are doing something about it.
Temperatures came down a bit today, but still warmer than normal. I'll talk about how long this trend will last.
Season 2 is here, y'all. And yes, I am in an eye patch. How much more, Kelly, can it
The
get?
Kelly Clarkson Show, weekdays at 3 on CBS 3.
Welcome back to the CBS 3 News, live at 5. Here's a live look over Canal Park. Let's take a quick look at some of today's top stories and a peek at what's coming up at 6. Minnesota is certainly not out of the woods when it comes to COVID-19, and data shows our region is setting the pace as the state's biggest hotspot. Statewide, there are more than 100,000 confirmed coronavirus cases to date. Total deaths sit at more than 2,000, and today Minnesota reported more than 900 new cases.
The one and only vice presidential debate between Vice President Mike Pence and Senator Kamala Harris is just hours away. The debate will be divided into 9 segments. The topics haven't been revealed, but are expected to include the coronavirus, which is now impacting the White House, the economy, and the Supreme Court vacancy. And tonight at 6, last week, the U.S. House held a vote on a resolution to condemn the QAnon conspiracy theory. Tonight, we're hearing from Congressman Tom Tiffany. We'll hear from him tonight at 6. That's your news at 5. The CBS Evening News is next.